We have a Baker Mayfield update to get to here early on a Tuesday morning, but first, just want to thank all of you for helping us get past 69,000 subscribers during our watch party on Sunday. For those of you who aren't subbed to the 49ers Report, I give you videos every single day on San Francisco, news, rumors, analysis, live shows, and watch parties. So become a member of the faithful family here at Chat Sports and hit that subscribe button because it's our goal by the end of the week to get to 70,000 subs. A loaded show coming your way on the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Chase Senior here with you. No matter where you are or how you're tuned in, greatly appreciate all of you for making the 49ers Report a part of your day. By the way, still will be going live later here on Tuesday. Just had to give you a Baker Mayfield early this morning. Today's show is presented by Vincero Collective, by the way. To the boss men and women out there, if you're looking to upgrade your wardrobe, do so with Vincero's awesome watches like the one that I'm rocking here, which makes me have a little pep in my step with a little bit of swagger. And for the faithful family, 20% off and free shipping if you use that link down below, VinceroCollective.com/chat. Promo code chat. We'll tell you more about them coming up here in just a few moments. So the latest on Baker Mayfield, the deadline for Baker to get claimed on the waiver list, 4 o'clock Eastern. So for those of you who are watching this on Wednesday, later on Tuesday, a move could have happened, but this is why you subscribe, because we're up and at it early, giving you an update. If Baker is not claimed, he'll become a free agent, and that would allow the 49ers to sign him if Baker Mayfield isn't claimed before the Niners are on that pecking order, 24th on the waiver claim list. Now, San Francisco is being talked about as a potential Baker Mayfield destination coming after the Jimmy Garoppolo injury, in which he broke his foot and is expected to be out for the remainder of the season. Conflicting reports as to the severity of that Jimmy Garoppolo injury. There was some fear it was a Liz Frank. Now, team doctors believe it might not be that. But going back to Baker Mayfield, the 49ers 24th in the waiver claim order. So if you ask me for my hunch right now, 1, I don't think the Niners are going to sign him. 2, I don't think they're going to be able to claim him, going back to that original point, because there are other teams on the waiver claim list ahead of San Francisco who could take a chance on a guy who's shown some ability in his NFL career, does have pedigree, a former #1 pick and Heisman Trophy winner who did lead the Browns to that playoff run a couple of years ago and did play well, and those teams have a need at that quarterback position. Kyle Shanahan was asked about Baker on Monday, and he did touch on the subject matter, saying this: "We look into everything. That would surprise me right now if we got him, and we've got to discuss it this afternoon and stuff. I've always been a fan of his, but I feel real good about our players." And according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, he did say that he expects Baker Mayfield to get claimed. Now, a lot of teams in need of a quarterback could claim him prior to San Francisco, or another team in the NFC playoff picture, not wanting to give the Niners an edge, could also claim Baker Mayfield so that he doesn't fall to San Francisco. The scheme fit makes sense. Baker Mayfield, Kevin Stefanski, when they were paired up in Cleveland, they had a lot of the elements of Kyle Shanahan's offense, and Baker was able to execute them. And the Shanahan tree has been littered so far in the career of Baker. But from my seat, that was, yes, a Kyle Shanahan classic response. But other than that, I don't expect the Niners to sign him, nor would I, because this team absolutely loves Brock Purdy, as we're about to break down. But let me pose this question, and it is today's poll question. I want to hear from everybody down in the comment section. Pick a starter for the 49ers the rest of the season. BM for Baker Mayfield, BP for Brock Purdy. Let me know. Now, we're only getting started, but I told you off the top of the show, 49ers Report today is presented by Vincero Collective, and the holiday season is here, and I've been able to add to my wardrobe with the Vincero watch. Make sure you do so as well, because Vincero is where it's at. I'm talking to all the boss men and boss women out there. There's no better way to spread holiday cheer than upgrading your style for all to hear. Thanks to our friends at Vincero for sponsoring today's episode. If you aren't familiar with them, they make exceptionally crafted, stylish watches, all at affordable prices. So you look good and you get to save money in the process. Other premium handcrafted watches don't fit the everyday person's budget like you and I. You can finally own a high-quality and lasting timepiece without going broke. Look like a baller without having to spend like one. That's the message with Vincero. So if you're looking for the perfect holiday gift to help elevate your style, or a gift for somebody that you love, you can save 20% off and free shipping site-wide with our exclusive code, chat, at vincerocollective.com/chat. Are you worried that someone won't like the gift? That's okay too, because sometimes when you're buying gifts, you have to take a chance. Whether you need to return it or swap it, there's no problem. Although I know you're going to be happy with your purchase. Vincero's 5-year guarantee and 365-day free return policy has you covered. Whether it's a gift for yourself or someone in your life, Vincero should be at the top of your wish list. Going back to Brock Purdy here and the respect that he now has in this locker room. Very similar to the respect that Jimmy Garoppolo had around this locker room. And Brandon Ayuk did go on a podcast with TJ Houshmandzadeh, and he backed Brock Purdy and really was complimentary about how Purdy was ready to play when he was thrust into that role in a massive game against the Miami Dolphins, when as a backup, sometimes guys don't take their work seriously because they're like, there's no chance I'm going to get it. You could tell Brock Purdy studied. You could tell Brock Purdy has this offense down, and that's why he was able to play so well. And Kyle Shanahan, going back to training camp, every time he's had an opportunity to rave about Purdy, he's been able to do that, as evidenced by the quotes that we're about to break down. Stats against the Dolphins for Brock, 25-37. I'm really impressed with how he comes into this game early against a good Miami Dolphins team and a statement game for both sidelines, San Francisco and Miami, and they have him drop back 37 times. His release on some of his passes, some of the quickest among all quarterbacks in the NFL, which was a Jimmy Garoppolo staple, especially with the weapons on this offense. You get the ball out, you allow them to pick up yards after the catch, and that's how San Francisco can matriculate downfield. 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, the 1 pick, which I talked about, basically a punt downfield. That was a throwaway. I'm cool with it. Ball could have been better, but it's all good. And he completed 67.5% of his passes. And going back to what Shanahan had said about Brock Purdy, and when he really started to become a fan of his, he said this to Peter King: "What impressed me about Brock in camp is he was always willing to let it rip. He's decisive. He started for years at Iowa State at a really high level. You got to have some balls to play quarterback in this league, and Brock Purdy does. We think we'll have a chance with them, and that's why we came up with the nickname on Sunday during the watch party, Big Cock Brock," type BCB down in the comment section right now. The biggest play of the game that we talked about during the watch party, we talked about on yesterday's show, and this goes to show you the diagnosing skills for Brock Purdy. Let's talk about it here. It's that 3rd and long conversion to George Kittle, which was really, really impressive in all facets from Brock Purdy, and I'll get to that around the corner. This from Peter King. The key point, late in the first half, this is in case for those of you who didn't watch the game or you forgot, on that 3rd and 10, at the start of the play, 8 Dolphins crowded the line, a clear sign that, again, they would pressure Purdy heavily at the snap. On the sideline, Kyle Shanahan prayed that Purdy would recognize the blitz and call for an adjustment to tight end George Kittle's route. He was the primary receiver on the play. Nuances of football here, folks. But now the correct read was for an adjustment so that Kittle would cut off his post route a bit shorter, enough to make the first down, but not enough for a huge gain. Also, it gave Brock Purdy an instant to make a quick throw as compared to waiting for Kittle's route. Kyle Shanahan on that play, we had to do something quicker because we knew we weren't going to have the time. And here's a look at that play, which really did help seal the deal late in this game for San Francisco. 8 guys in the box here, which means 8 guys at that line of scrimmage who are a threat to blitz and bring pressure on Brock Purdy. And the Miami Dolphins emptied the house a lot, very frequently in that game on Sunday, because they understood they were going up against a rookie quarterback. They wanted to test him to see if he was going to rise up to the occasion against the blitz and complete some really big-time money throws, or he was going to crumble against pressure. So 8 men in the box, and here's Kittle all the way to the outside here to my far right. George Kittle goes out for his route, as evidenced by this second picture. And if Brock Purdy doesn't call for an adjustment to the route for George Kittle here, maybe he goes further upfield instead of cutting it across. And as you can see, Brock Purdy from Jalen Phillips who's one of the players who actually injured Jimmy Garoppolo unintentionally early in that game, he's in Brock Purdy's face immediately here. And Purdy has to get rid of the football in an instant, knowing that the pressure is here, and this is a third down, and he has Kittle streaking across the middle of the field. Not only do I like the early diagnosing skills from Brock Purdy here on this play, because he understood 8 guys were in the box. Kittle had to make an adjustment to his route. But the timing and the anticipation of this throw with the defender in his face really is big time. George Kittle just started to break this route off here. Brock Purdy already let go of the football. And as we go to the next photo, in between 2 fenders, the throw right on the money to George Kittle for a first down conversion to keep the chains moving and San Francisco able to put some more points on the board. So that's why San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan, Brandon Ayuk have a belief that Brock Purdy can help them out and be the guy for this team moving forward, and they can win a lot of games and still compete for a Super Bowl because he does a lot of the same things as Jimmy Garoppolo, and he has such a good surrounding cast and complementary skill players around him that all he has to do is just not mess it up, play point guard, distribute it, and rely on that Kyle Shanahan foundational running game. As for Baker, I'm not sure that he'd be able to make these early diagnosing plays. And I'm not sure that Baker Mayfield has the confidence right now to really excel and have ownership of this offense because he's been a little bit mentally rattled and mentally wonky because the situations in Cleveland as well as Carolina have not been ideal, and he hasn't taken ownership for a lot of his weaknesses as well as his flaws. Now, you look at the numbers here for Baker, 2020, the best season, still completed only 63% of his passes, 3,500 yards. Again, a very similar offense to Kyle Shanahan's where they run the football a lot, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks. But other than that, the decision-making, the accuracy, which was supposed to be a strength, has never been there. And as you can see, completion percentage never above 64% in any of these 4 seasons. And in 2022, with Carolina, limited opportunities for Baker, of course, but he didn't do anything to seize the role to be that team's starting quarterback. 1-5 record, completed less than 58% of his passes, 1,300 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. And for me, I used to like Baker Mayfield's confidence. I liked how confident he was. I liked that me against the world approach. That's what made him an NFL player. He was doubted. He wasn't recruited out of high school. He had to go to, Texas Tech prior to Oklahoma before being able to star there. Texas Tech didn't want him. He was a walk-on at Oklahoma. He became a Heisman Trophy winner, and Oklahoma almost had an opportunity to win a national championship before losing in the Final Four in the college football playoff. And Baker Mayfield had a great year that year. He was the number 1 pick in part because he always has that chip on his shoulder. But then that confidence turned into arrogance and him never being accountable. And I have a problem with that when you're the face of the franchise. And I'd rather move forward with this 49ers quarterback depth chart than bring in Baker Mayfield. As a backup, maybe. But as a starter, I want to see what Brock Purdy can do because I'm going to trust the players in that locker room who have voiced, this guy can really sling it. This guy can really play. And from what I've seen at Iowa State, with him having 4 years of experience, and what I've seen so far in the preseason and in the regular season, and knowing what this roster is, the best defense in the NFL, with great offensive skill players and a great coach in Kyle Shanahan, they might be able to survive with Brock Purdy and avoid the distraction of Baker Mayfield. And, of course, Josh Johnson signed Sunday night in the aftermath of that game and the Jimmy G injury from the Broncos practice squad. As of right now, he is the backup quarterback. So with that, last question for you. What's your level of confidence in San Francisco moving forward? I hope all of you enjoyed our show. Rate it for me 1 to 10. Make sure you join us for our live show later here on Tuesday. And if you want to interact with me on social media, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Same handle on both, @Chase_Senior. Appreciate the support. Always enjoy chopping it up with the faithful.